morning, everyone. So you are listening to Q&A on QA session with experts in testing community from all over the globe. I'm your host, Sivaranajani, and today we have our wonderful guest, Pricilla Bilavendran, a passionate test engineer from Billennium IT Services. Welcome to the show, Pricilla. So how are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yunanji. Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing also good. So cool. So I think just to have a quick warm up, okay, so getting into the interview, I would like to know, so how you start your day usually, because it's already 11:30 in your place. So how did you start your day usually?
Okay. I usually plan to start early, but some days I fail, of course. So I used to try to start as much as early I could because morning I have some family stuffs to take care, like basic cooking, and I have to get my kid. I have to get him ready for school and all those things. So once that is all done, if I sit before the computer, first thing, of course, going through the mails, then I'll be just prioritizing the task, like what has to be done before noon and what can be done till evening, like whatever time which I have. So after prioritizing, and some things, it's just the email, responding the emails, no? So I'll just flag the emails and I'll try to respond as soon as I check them. And so that's it. So once my kid is back from school, I have to feed him, and again I'll have a break, my lunch break as well. And since it's all like working from home right now, and then till evening, like most of my evenings will be so much busy, like after 2 or 3 o'clock, because most of our stakeholders are from European time zone, so they'll be starting their day that time. So I'll be much more busy with the calls and all those things. I'll try to wrap off by 6:30 my time, and then again it goes with the homework for my kid. Or I used to sit with him, and then dinner, and then just wrap it off the day. That's it. It's a very simple
It's
routine.
a wonderful thing. I think you are very well managing between your professional and the personal life, managing between the work and the kids work and household work. So I think you are doing a very good job over it. Yeah.
Thank
So
you, Shiva.
yeah. So that's awesome tip, Priscilla. So for sure, I think I will try to follow to make my day a special one with your tip, wrapping up the thing very early. So not extending
Yeah.
my day for a long time. So yeah. So I work with the US clients. I think it's
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
little different from yours. So you are with European clients. Yeah. So but
Right.
definitely I will try to follow this. So to be started with, can you give a quick background about yourself?
Mm, sure. As you see, yeah, you can call me Priscilla, and Bilavendran is my second name, which is my dad's name. I didn't change it after marriage. And so, talk about like my professional career. I have total 10 years of experience into quality assurance. I started as a QA engineer in India. So as a functional tester, of course, we were all trained in automation that time. We had UFT, which is called as which was called as QTP that time. So I was trained in QTP, but we didn't have enough automation projects that time in 2011. So I was into a functional testing project, and it was, of course, a US client, and we were working for an insurance based client. So it was a pretty much good learnings I had. And then after a while I got an opportunity to work with EDI testing and sometime for ETL testing, and then I switched into automation with Selenium. And right now, like after marriage, I had to move into Malaysia. Like so here I'm getting an opportunity to work mostly closely with APIs, and we are trying to automate the APIs. It's a part of integration testing which we are doing. So this is pretty much about my professional background. And talking about the personal background, yeah. So right now we are located in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and I have a 4-year-old kid who's in school right now. That's it.
Okay, so yeah, you very well explained about your professional career and also your personal life. Yeah. So yeah, so with starting, so I have seen your amazing QA career progress, right? So you went from a QA trainee to a quality analyst, then to as a mentor, as a blog contributor, as a senior QA, and now you are working as a test lead. So can you describe for us how these positions connect with each other's, how the experience you gain from one position will help you to bloom in the next position? So how they overlap with other departments in your organization?
Sure, Anjali. When you look at the past or the history, any successful person, they would have started doing the groundwork one day, right? They would have started from zero. So because without knowing the value of zero, you will not understand the value of 100, which is a famous saying. So I always believe in a work style where getting to know the details. So I'll always trust that I should like get my hands dirty. I should get into the work. I should get onto the field and work. So that's how my career also helped me, because I started as a trainee, which was like fresh out of college and in engineering graduate, think like doesn't know anything about testing. Of course, we had a paper which is software testing during my engineering days, but I never assumed like I would be a software tester that time. So it was like one of the common papers just passed through. And after getting into a campus placement, I understood like testing is much more than we thought. Like I was of course accidentally placed into testing, because people will be like split into batches, and that's how I landed up in testing. I wanted to be a Java developer, to be honest, but things changed, and my friend, she wanted to be a tester. So both of us like it was interchanged. So she is still a Java developer and I'm being a tester. Of course, I don't regret it right now, but that is, of course, I regretted. I wanted to be, so I regretted that day. And other than that, coming to the original question which you asked. So these days, like when I started as a trainee, like when I was totally new to testing, I was trying to learn what is actually testing. Why do we need to testing? Some kind of testing jargons which we use. And then once, like after a few months or a few weeks, or once the time goes on, no, you will get to know like what has to be done next. That is the beauty of our career, no, like you can even decide like what you wanted to be next. So I was actually pushed into every phases. So we might have heard about the butterfly life cycle. How does it start? It usually starts with the egg, and then it goes on to a caterpillar, and then it moves into a cocoon state, like where it'll be waiting to open that and fly as a butterfly. And finally we have a status like wherein it'll fly as a butterfly. So here we cannot split the effort between every roles, right? So we know they're all interconnected. So it's the same way my entire career or my entire journey. Luckily I was not moved out of testing anywhere. So I had all of the roles are interlinked. So the lessons which I learned during my previous role is going to help me right now. The lessons which I'm going to learn in the current role is going to help me in the in another role. So all of my progress and my best practices, everything was interlinked, I would say. So just like a life cycle of a butterfly, like my life cycle also started with eggs, with zero, and right now it's all butterfly. But just remember, like once you are flying out, again it's your responsibility to do back to the community, right? So make sure that you're mentoring new testers, and that's how the cycle will be like colorful as always. So
That is awesome analogy, Priscilla. So comparing your the work experience, your roles with a butterfly life cycle. So it's perfect. Okay, so good to hear. I would say, yeah. So when I looked at your profile, I can see you are the global ambassador of the WomenTech Network and AWS Community Builder. So what is the benefit of involving in communities for a QA person? Can you explain a bit for
Mm.
us?
Sure, Nandini. Because it's of course one of the, I believe, like trending word in recent times, like the communities, no. So I was into part of different communities, like other than Women Tech Network, I'm evangelizing few other tools and technologies as well. I'm representing them. So what I'm going to get out of it is like I'm meeting mixed crowd of people, like who are into testing or who are into tech for more than 20-30 years, and the millennials who just started their career, who are about to start their career. So the variety of crowd, and also from the location, culture, everything wise, we have I get an opportunity to meet the diverse people. So that gives me an opportunity for much more learning, and especially about WomenTech Network. There are a lot of women who are already doing amazing things to the community. So it was a wonderful opportunity to interact with many like-minded people. So, and also when coming to the communities, no, it is not just about contributing. Like, it's not just about one side. You have to do everything to the community. It is, of course, like equally getting benefited. Like, we all know karma, right? Karma is real. It's a boomerang. So once you are doing something to the people who doesn't even like know you personally, of course, that one another day when you are in some kind of crisis, definitely you will get it back. I strongly believe in karma. So it's about like helping others. You would have noticed in your office someday, like, of course, nowadays we miss going to office even. So just randomly while shifting through the places, and you might have seen some of your friends who are struggling with something about to finish, or about some defect or something. Just by random passing, we would have just stopped by and would have helped them. No, just remember that how does that day looks like, and when compared to your normal routine day. So it really makes a difference when you're trying to help others. No, that vibe, that positivity which is going to ignited in you is having a very good impact, I would say. So that is how. And even in this pandemic, we are not even seeing those people in the communities, but I got a lot of beautiful friendship, I would say. I got a lot of friends, and they really care for me. So I would say community is all about giving, and like it's about giving and also like taking back. So they have a lot to give back to you as well. And I was never felt alone when you have, or when you be part of these communities. No, we will never feel like I'm a lone tester or something. You will have many like-minded people who are traveling with you, and of course they will also have the same sufferings, all the self-doubt like you. So when you talk with this kind of people, no, uh, in a way, of course, a place to vent out also. We can like talk with each other, we can vent out ourselves, and we can like learn what are the upcoming trends and all those things. We know what is the right path to be guided on. No, so in a way, finally all these together will help for your career growth. You will be better confident engineer. Like, you can express yourself in a better way. And I strongly believe communities are helping you to find your inner self. Like, this is what they'll definitely help you to find that.
Okay, that is awesome, awesome, awesome. And with your note, okay, so community involvement is nothing but a help, extending your helping hands to another person. So I know. I know. So you work as a QA lead. So I think you are supposed involved in hiring a new QA talents. So do you feel like it is hard to find any good quality QA folks? And if so, why?
Yeah. This is, of course, a kind of very tough question to answer, but I'll try to do. You are right. You are right, Shivaranjani. It is really tough to get the right talents nowadays. But I wouldn't blame that. It's just a problem with the testers alone. Okay, it's a collective or a cumulative thing happening. Like, the percentage varies, like different from for different reasons. So first thing, common thing which I have noticed is like, uh, even though you are good at automation, you know many languages, or you can code in Java, you can code in JavaScript, it doesn't matter. When you are applying for a tester role, make sure that you are strong in your testing basics. That is mandatory. You should know how the testing was through all these. Like, I can say for these 10 years, when what I saw testing when I started my career, and how testing is right now, there are a lot of advancements. But that doesn't mean like you have to miss the basics. You have to like you don't want to learn the basics. No, it's not that way. You have to learn the testing basics, which is much more mandatory for any kind of testing engineer. You can be either a performance engineer, automation engineer, or any kind of specialist, but I believe testing basics is mandatory. So that is lacking in most of us right now, which is of course a saddening part. So I wish like we are like spreading more awareness towards that, and people should start investing some time in learning the testing basics. And another thing is like, not just the testers, right? There are some organizations still they are using testers in a kind of test factory model, which we call it. just by executing the test cases every day and just they're just starting the day executing test cases, finishing it off. So they're not given opportunity to explore more and more things. So I believe those sort of approach should also change in some organizations, because these kind of people know when they are trying outside for jobs, they are really like they are feeling so much intimidated. They're not having the strength to face the outer world. So I suggest like these approaches in the organizations should also change. So these two are the major factors which I have seen personally, Shivaranjani. So that's the reason like we are also finding hard to hire some talents.
Yeah, well said, Priscilla. I think you pinpointed all your pain points now in hiring QA talents. So yeah, so what personality do you think makes a good QA engineer in your thoughts?
Okay. First thing, we should be strong headed. We shouldn't like no compromises, I would say. A tester should have an attitude of okay, oh, if this is the developer says something, we should I'm not telling like we should always be in a kind of a rude and arrogant manner. There is a difference between fighting and in a polite manner also, right? You're just going to be fighting for your application, for your test cases. So just be strong headed and some out of box thinking. You should have that strong analytical and out of box thinking, and exploring things like who is not fearing of taking up challenges and trying out new things. And people will always say you should be a good team player, or but I believe it is equally important. A person should have two traits. He should be able to act independently as a solo and also a team player. Both of the qualities are equally important in my aspect. And then when it comes to you, he should be strongly believing in himself or herself, like there is no doubt in that, and being creative and keeping themselves curious. So all these are the traits which I'm looking for.
Okay, that is perfect. Glad your insights will definitely clear the doubts that the budding QA person has. Yeah, we should always put ourselves in the customer's shoes when testing an application. That is the mantra I have when testing an application. Yeah.
You're right.
So you are mentoring a lot of QA folks all around the globe now. So what are the best practices for the manual testing, and how will help a new tester to continue their QA journey?
Okay. First thing, the best practice I would say, like just keep in mind that manual testing is going to stay forever. There is nothing that automation is going to replace as something. So of course, testing is going to stay. I believe, strongly believe human brains are special, right? So testing is going to stay. So when testing is going to stay as a manual tester, also you need to have some kind of specialization or some traits to prove that you are really special. First thing, don't just don't just test your applications like a kind of a blindfolded one. Like try to get the big picture or the aerial view of your application or the product or the entire architecture which you're going to work on. You should be able to connect the dots. Okay, never assume things. Go ahead, shoot your questions, get the answers. So that is the first point I would say, like getting the overall picture. And then the second thing comes the clarity. Of course, it's all related. Like after getting the overall picture, you should have the clarity of the application, why and what you have to test it. Okay. And then comes the documentation part. I am a bit inclined towards, and I'm of course strict towards following the process and standards. Initial days it might be painful. People might think like, how many trackers, how many metrics I have to fill it. No, it's not that way. It might be tough in the initial days, but I strongly believe once you stabilize your team, no, this process and this documentation process which you already implemented will be definitely helpful to you. That will save a lot and lot of your time. So the third point is documentation and the process oriented things which we need to focus on. And the final point is, of course, we all have to think as a end user, as you mentioned, Shivaranjani, because considering the similar applications, say for example, you are working in the kind of iBanking application, you might be a original bank user of another bank, no? Just try to relate it like the other competitive products, no? Try to relate it. What makes the user happy? What makes the user annoying? Like what is making us a frown face, because we are also using multiple products and multiple applications in our day-to-day life. So try to think about that. So user is not someone who is going to be from a different planet or a different region. In the next day it's going to be you. So the user is you. So just keep that in mind and just try to provide valuable feedbacks to your development. So I believe these are the best practices.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, these best practices will help. So some of the QA folks who are finding hard to streamline the QA process in their organization. Yeah, definitely it will help them. Yeah. So with that, okay, so I think you're implementing this best practices in your organization, from playing multiple roles in different companies. So what are the challenges you have faced in your career growth with this, and how did you overcome it? Maybe you can share with us your upscaling process you followed to do that.
Sure. One common challenge all the testers face is like updating and like moving in with the technology. So that was very tough, right? So we find it very tough to like upgrade ourselves, because in real time your project or your office work might not support or might not be in alignment with your personal aspirations. So I would suggest like try to find better projects. If that is not working out for you in long run, there is no more learning, try to find out better projects. It's better to come out of it instead of like blaming the team, blaming the project, blaming the account. Just come out of it, try to have a better place where you'll have a better learning, and where you will have an option to have implemented your all your aspirations. Even for when you're looking out for the jobs also, just try to move think in an aspect like what sort of role you wanted to be in. Just don't go with all the open roles. Just what sort of role or what is your aspiration, just try to go with that. So keeping on moving with the technology is one challenge which we face. So I would suggest like that is where the communities are coming into picture. Like you can try to interact with the experts who are already good in that field, and you'll get the curated list. We don't want to waste time. That's the beauty of the community and the people who are helping over there. And the second is like which is very common, and I believe it's not just for women. Like I believe nowadays everybody is facing that, like a career break. I believe few companies are trying to change the stereotype, but we really appreciate that. But still there are some companies who are still thinking like when you have a career break, it seems like you have mentally lost yourself, that you don't remember anything in that way, which is not fair, right? So I even personally faced that. After I was working in India, I never faced it, because I was working all 7 years in my first company itself. I never searched a job outside of my existing company and my existing profile. So when after marriage, when we moved out to Malaysia, we I was forced to search a job, right? So that is where I realized how much the testers are underestimated everywhere. And that too, the people who have the career break, they go through a lot. I also did. I had many bad interviews, I would say. um, Lot of bitter experiences, no? So even I remember a call where a guy was I'll just give it a quote. Okay, my kid was like 1.5 years old that time. So we moved into a new country, and we just have very few families and friends. It was all working from office that time. So my husband has to travel. He has to travel to office every day. There is no way of keeping him at home. That it is not possible. So my kid usually sleeps in the afternoon, like after 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. After the lunch, I'll make him sleep. The sleep will definitely last for 1 or 2 hours. So that is the reason I scheduled that interview that time. So I asked them to schedule an interview, and it was for a company which is in Malaysia. So we scheduled the interview. Unfortunately, my kid woke up for the first time. So the person who was interviewing at the corner, he said like, I said I need 5 minutes. I'll be just back, and I just closed my call and I just went back, and I made him sleep again, and then I came back, and again once the interview started, in again some 5 to 10 minutes, he started asking his questions, and again my kid started crying. So it was a bad experience which I had. So after that, that person who was interviewing me, he just declined the call, and he was just like totally silenced. He didn't respond to my messages also. I was actually, now I feel sorry for that, but I was actually apologizing to the HR and I was telling them, I'm sorry for that. Maybe you can try to schedule another interview. This day was really bad for me. So it happened that way. So that all these things, no, after that, my current company, Billennium, trusted me. They gave me an opportunity. They never took that career break as even a factor. They didn't even consider it. Since my interview was good, they gave me an opportunity. So right now, if you see my career growth, it's like it's really more and more what even like I expected or I imagined. All just because of the current company, like Billennium is supporting me to whatever way, whatever crazy ideas I come up with. No, they used to support me, they used to encourage me, so all these motivations are done. And after this I made sure, like even for my LinkedIn profile, if you see in my bio, I have just added the first term as like that's my role, right? I'm a mom, I have a family to take care, so that's my priority, like the topmost role which I'm playing right now. So I just put it on. After that, many of my friends also did, they started like updating their bios as well. They told me like this bio is really great, and even I wanted to do the same, and they did the same. What I'm getting out of it actually is, since I'm talking at various events and I'm being like appreciated for many reasons, no, when another mom who's like so doubtful of her career, what I'm going to do with that, why I'm doing testing, who is really doubtful of the career, or who's having a maternity break, when she seeing the profile, no, she's really inspired. She's texting me that even I'm a mom, I had a career break, can you just help me in learning all those things? And I really got a lot of messages like this, Shivaranjani, you will not believe. So these kind of messages will really make my day. They are the purpose, like I'm doing all these things. Many people will ask me like, how 24 hours has been enough for you? What are you, how can you manage your day even? But I would say these sort of messages and these sort of people, no, they are really keeping me growing. So I would say like it's really a special and emotional moment for me as well. So these are the main challenges which I faced in my career growth. Other than that, people are really nice to me. I'm not bluffing here. So people are really nice to me. I had some bad experiences, but which is not even worth of quoting it here. So I believe that's it.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, so thanks, Pricilla, for sharing your experience, how you overcome the challenges in your career growth, and how you helped your friends and the people you know to break the stereotype in their career growth. Right? Yeah. So that is good to hear from you. So far we have discussed about the generalized questions about the QA, hiring QAs, and your career growth and challenges you faced. Now I want to move into the more technical aspects of testing. Like, okay, so what are the standards we need to maintain while testing an application in general?
Okay. First and the foremost, testing is all about maintaining the discipline. I would say you should have your own discipline. It's of course it is the discipline is something which our principals or the college HODs used to mention. It's very strict principle. You should have your discipline, and due to that discipline you will have your honesty. Okay, there is no kind of like fooling or deceiving statements should be expected from a tester. So you should have your honesty. You should have your own elegancy or own way of handling things, and all these together, no, it will help you to have your clarity in all your documentations. Say for example, even your test plan will have the risk. Okay, just ignore the common risk which we are like as a test plan template as such is having. Try to give better, more clarity over there. What is actually about the test plan, what is actually about your product, your project, like for about this project, what does it actually work? Just don't go with the template default things. Try to give the clarity, as much as clarity, so that any new person or any layman could understand that. So that is the major quality of a tester, or a major standard I would expect them to maintain. and to have a polite and empathetic person. We should be like that, but it doesn't mean like we have to like completely agree with the developers. It has to be a fight. It has to be a healthy fight and a constructive feedback, I should say, we should have with the developers. And even for a defect, if you remember, like we have a saying that the defect should speak for itself, right? So we should, when we log a defect, we are trying to provide all the details and all the even example. For an instance, even including the test data, you can try to provide all the details including your test data. I had a test lead, and during my very earlier days, and we used to work for a US client, right? So of course, you know how does the time zone was in, like when I was working from India. So any defect, if I'm missing any sort of details, my developer is located in US. So if I'm missing any details in the defect, okay, it will take another 1 or 2 days, which has been dragged for fixing even. So she just told me just one day, just this one statement, I still remember that. Just when you're providing a defect, okay, just make sure that, okay, anybody who is seeing the defect, if it is a developer, if it is a BA, they shouldn't come and ask you for more details. Okay, just make sure that as much as details you're trying to provide it, so that they're not coming back to you. So even in some cases, we used to do the root cause analysis even, and we'll try to provide as much as detail. I suspect that this has gone wrong, this may have gone wrong. So these sort of details will help the developer to like fix it very sooner. And of course, which is going to help you for your testing process. It'll help you to expedite the testing process even. So I still remember that, and even every day, like till now, even when I log a defect, I used to think of her, and I'll ensure that whether, and even for Jira, nowadays we are using Jira, right? So whether I have added the proper labels and all those things. So finally, together, I would say these are the discipline which the standards which I am looking for every tester. Like, have your discipline first. Testing is not just testing; it has to have a strict discipline. And then second thing is like be honest and be polite to your developers. Good, try to maintain a good rapport with them, and wherever possible, whenever possible, all the documentation, all the defects should have the proper details, just not the superficial details, to the level of details, so that the person doesn't need to come back to you asking for more details. So I believe this is all the standards which we need to maintain.
Yeah, so it's a good to hear from you. Yeah, definitely, I would agree with your point. Yeah, very well written defect report is already the fix has been fixed halfway. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
right.
yeah, help us to fix the defect in a better way. Yeah. So with that said, okay, so I know, so manual testing cannot be replaced by any testing. So, I like to know, so how does automation enhance the quality of a product? So, do you
Mhm.
think any other trends in QA that our audience should aware of now?
Okay. Yeah. So everybody is drifting towards automation, and what is actually purpose of having automation? So just before you come up with your automation approach, or you come up with your automation test plan, first you should know about your effort. Okay, how long it is going to help your project, and you should have done your background work. Okay, just because everybody is doing automation, there is no use of you also drifting towards or moving towards automation. So it should be done only when there is a need. And when it comes to the enhancement of the quality of the product, I don't completely agree to that statement, because I believe automation is helping us to maintain the quality of the product to some extent. Because once we develop the scripts, we are just going to run it in the scheduled manner, and wherein if anything or anything or something changes in the product from the code, it's just going to intimate us, right? So it helps majorly towards the maintaining the quality of the product, and of course, not to enhance but to help us to some extent. Some automation scripts are really helping us to find bugs which we couldn't find with our eyeballing, and some which is like out of our control, like something related to the front end, wherein like the developer has done something with the code and all those things. No, sometimes it is when we'll try to locate our locators, we might locate some sort of bugs related to that, the page responsiveness or their screen resolution, something related to that. So I believe it's helping us to uncover few bugs, of course, but not totally to enhance the quality. It is helping us to maintain the quality of the product. And coming to the second question, the second part of the question, which is about the automation trends or any recent QA trends. And I am more, I'm also following, like reading so much blogs related to that. And I see like artificial intelligence, like they are talking more about like artificial intelligence and machine learning too much. And then cloud-based testing, which is very good for all of us, because many companies are like from on premises, they are just trying to move to the cloud based technologies. So all the tester, any of the cloud, I believe they are almost similar, because I did my AWS certification and just I started learning my Azure recently. So there is not much difference. Just as services names are just being different, but any cloud or any cloud related platform certification or the deeper knowledge will help you better. And other than that, I see some places like more organizations are started to think about this API testing as well. So this is what I can think about right now, Shivaranjani.
Thanks for sharing the recent trends and about the automation, how automation helps in enhancing the product quality. Yeah, thank you for that. So I know you are very keen and you love to do API testing. So why do we need API testing, Pricilla? So what are the skills sets we need to acquire the API testing?
Yeah. Thank you for that question, Shivaranjani. So as we all know, initially we had the companies like who develop their products first, okay, and then they'll be developing the APIs, just and because like wherein a third party integration is needed or some kind of migration is going to happen, no, that time they'll be thinking about the APIs. But the current trend is like, which we have already heard, like API first companies or API first design, API first approach. So what is it all about is like, first they will be developing the APIs. So sit with the business, come up with the requirements. Based on the requirements, they'll develop the APIs first, okay, and then they'll be developing the entire front end or the platform after that. So what is the advantage of this? Of course, for the once the API first companies are going to increase in number, the API testing is also going to get more and more importance. So once you have the APIs to be tested and the front end is not ready, as an API tester, you have to like jump in, start your testing, report your bugs. As soon as you spot it on, no, like it'll be easy for them to fix it. And you know how defect works, right? Like as soon as we find it, it's going to save you a lot of effort, and of course effort is mandatory, effort and money as well. So it is of course same related to your shift left process. So as early as we find the defects, it's going to help your entire project or the estimation. And when it comes to like the skill set, what is required, uh, I'm you might have sensed about me right now, so basics. So as equal to testing basics, API basics are also much more mandatory. As an API tester, you should know the technical jargons of the APIs. Just don't ignore that, oh, okay, this is the developer should use all these things, and it's not that way. You should know what is an API in a layman term. You should be able to explain to people, and you should know what are the current technology and the terms which they use in API. And once you are good with the basics, I believe there are a lot of materials available in the internet, and they'll be helping you to like get into the ladder and to reach the goal or the destination whichever you're looking for to. I don't think that is a very tougher part. I believe the first part is very tougher. Once you learn the basics of API, you should know what is actually REST, what is JSON, what is GraphQL. So all these things, GraphQL. So all these things, you should know your basics. And once you're strong in that, you have a lot of materials, and even I can even guide you on that, like to guide you with a learning plan or something. I'm always here.
Yeah, cool, Priscilla. I think, yeah, so having a good basic knowledge in any testing will keep you forward, right? Yeah, that's good to hear from you. So I know you are a mom, API Supernova, mentor, blogger, and a community builder, learner, speaker, and you are playing a multiple roles, okay, now. So can you share your success mantra behind this?
Sure, Anjali. One thing is like there is not actually a success mantra, but I'll just tell what I'm doing right now. I'll be easily bored of things. Okay, I can't stay in the same thing for so long. I'll be easily bored, so that keeps me alive. I will say like that helps me to keep my curiosity alive. Okay, what is in that? What is in that? But I'll make sure that I'm not like having a very less knowledge in whatever I'm learning. Once I started learning something, I'll make sure that I'm learning it completely, like completely in the sense where I get the knowledge sufficient enough to explain another person who is actually new to that. So that kind of aspect, no, that helps me to learn things better. I used to think, because without I used to have my own story. Whenever I learn something, I used to write my own story, and based on that story I'll connect the dots, and only then I'll remember, I'll store it in my brain actually. So that story making and storytelling, that is one of the basic things I will say. And like keeping the curiosity, and the second thing is like coming out of comfort zone. Of course, that is actually, that covers everything, I would say. Coming out of comfort zone will help you to realize who you are, like what you wanted to achieve, and how far is your success. So coming out of comfort zone is very much important. So there is no specific mantra. I'll always remember like what my mom used to say during my earlier childhood days. Like we all know, because we all have gone through the same, especially towards a girl child. What mom will be saying, like, be bold, be independent, you should do this on your own. I don't want to help you. Can you do this on your own? You can go alone, get your bicycle, go to the tuition, whatever it is. It is like pushing us to do things alone, no? So that was I believe that was a point when it started to, till this day. Whatever advices like my mom gave, like that, whatever, like she used to enchant the same things, like, no, you have to be bold, no, you have to do this. So these sort of motivations and the words from her, no, that is still keeping me going. So I would say my family is the greatest mantra. I believe everybody is having the same sort of situation. So if you look at back, right, you don't want to read any kind of powerful books and all those things. Just from your family, starting with your grandmas, and till your kids and the current generation, you will have a lot of learnings over there, and I think they will teach you many things.
Yeah, got it, Priscilla. Yeah, definitely the advice we got during our childhood days and when you're in college from our family members,
Mm,
from our mom and dad, yeah, that would definitely help us through a professional career as well. I'm
mm.
aligned with you. Yes,
Thank you.
I yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks, Priscilla, for taking your time today to share your knowledge and experience with us. So we appreciate you a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And it is not that easy that many of the women leaders are getting the spotlight, right? And you guys are doing it in a very good way. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for this opportunity. You guys are the best. And just keep supporting us and keep inspiring us, I would say. Thanks again for this opportunity.